Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started now. Good evening once again. Welcome everyone who is taking the time to join us tonight. My name is Karen Costantini. I'm a senior planner with the community planning team here at the region. As many of you joining us tonight are aware, development of a new regional official plan has been underway for a few years. Recently, a consolidated draft Niagara official plan was made available to all public and stakeholders for review and comment. If you've not had a chance to review the draft consolidated plan, we invite you to do so. It's posted on our website at www.niagararegion.ca/official-plan, and we'll put that in the chat box for everyone. This is the third open house we've held in the last month on official plan topics. We held a similar webinar to present information on our settlement area boundary review process. Another webinar was focused on our natural environment systems. And tonight, our webinar is focused on the draft consolidated official plan as a whole. If you're unable to attend either of our previous sessions, we are putting all presentations, recordings, and question responses up on our website after the sessions. Our January 26th webinar on settlement area boundary review is available now, and our natural environment system webinar materials will be up shortly. Also, tonight's session is also being recorded and will be posted to the region's website as well. I'd like to now introduce the staff that are joining me in the room tonight. At the back of the table is Dave Hayworth, whose job it is to prepare the official plan for adoption by council. And directly across from me is Eric Och, manager of the community planning team. We have several staff from our team who are joining us remotely tonight and will be available to answer any of your questions during the Q&A part of this evening. Tonight's schedule will be as follows. We are going to start with a presentation, followed by a question and answer session where we'll open it up for all attendees to ask questions. You can submit your questions by using the Q&A feature found at the bottom of your screen. We're going to read the questions aloud so the panelists can provide a verbal response. We will do our best to address as many of the questions as we can this evening. If you have a site-specific question about an individual property or a specific address, we ask that you email us your inquiry at makingourmark@niagararegion.ca so that we can respond to your site-specific question accordingly. We don't get to your question live. All of the unanswered questions will be answered in writing and posted to our website. Finally, today's session is being conducted via Zoom, which is a third-party video conferencing platform. We can't troubleshoot individual technical problems during the session, but if you're having challenges, please contact us following the meeting so we can respond to any questions or comments that you may have. At this point, I am going to pass it over to Dave, who will be leading us through the presentation tonight.
Thank you, Karen, and good evening, everyone. This is an important milestone in the development of the official plan, as it represents the first occasion where there is a complete consolidation of the policy document to be reviewed in its entirety to see how the pieces fit together. The official plan is built on the foundation of pillar statements developed from themes identified through consultation during the Imagine Niagara consultation and council strategic plan consultation initiatives, as well as input received during background work on the development of the official plan via other public information centers. The pillar statements were confirmed via surveys completed with regional council. And you can see the pillar statements below or identified on the slide here. As Karen mentioned, this is the third consultation in our stream of PICs. Tonight, we are providing an overview of the PICs in general, and because of the official plan in general, and because of the previous PICs, this presentation will not go into details in the overview of settlement area boundary, expansions, and the natural environment system. Given the policy content of the official plan, the presentation will highlight policy directions as a detailed policy is available for reviewing and comment on the website. So we've mentioned this at other PIC events. There's a differentiating and planning roles between the province, the region, and the local municipalities. The province sets the growth forecast for regional municipalities. It creates the land use framework, policy framework for Ontario, and sets minimum targets for growth and development. The region decides how much growth is allocated to each local municipality guides where people and jobs will and will not go, and conforms to provincial policy. Local planning departments or local municipalities decide the land uses and built forms permitted on a parcel by parcel basis or a neighborhood basis through secondary plans. They're more responsible for the approval of development applications like severances, plans of subdivision, etc. And as I mentioned, they develop neighborhood plans as well. It is important for the region to provide a consistent set of growth numbers for transportation, water, wastewater master planning, and development charges to plan for growth to ensure people can travel to and from work efficiently. Servicing can accommodate growth, and growth pays for growth. Interest areas of the official plan in managing growth are namely improvement of our natural environment mapping and policies, providing a policy response to climate change, increasing our housing mix and supply of housing, maintaining and improving our economic competitiveness, particularly by protecting key employment areas for the long term, and keep providing clear policies as we work in a two-tier planning system with the region and local municipalities to help with interpretation of policy as development applications are processed. These are the core chapters of the Niagara Official Plan. They do not include the introduction, implementation, or site-specific policy chapters, or a glossary of terms, or schedules or appendices, although I will be highlighting certain schedules this evening. And you can see the different policy sections that are included in those chapters. I will be discussing policy sections from these chapters, but not in chapter order, rather more categorized into themes, which I will outline. You may see policy section references at the top of each slide, so you have a reference point as to where to read the more detailed policy sections. The policies of the Niagara Official Plan are integrated, and the plan needs to be considered in its entirety for proper direction. And there's two sections which really highlight the integration of policies in the plan, and those are a climate change section and an economic prosperity section. The climate change section highlights policy direction for from more detailed specific policies integrated throughout the plan. Policies across the Niagara Official Plan support the transition to net zero climate resilient communities by supporting built form and land use patterns that use land efficiently and reduce transportation emissions, support conservation and energy reduction, enhance carbon sinks that store and sequester carbon, enhance the adaptive capacity of infrastructure, and mitigate hazards. Further, this section identifies commitments for undertaking further climate change work that goes beyond the scope of the official plan, such as a regional greening initiative, regional climate modeling, assessing risks and vulnerabilities, and developing a climate change adaptation strategy. The economic prosperity section of the official plan also pulls together land use policies and other sections of the plan, focusing on attracting employers and workers to the region by protecting employment areas for employment uses, improving the region's infrastructure, support the agri-food industry, support the local building sector by providing clear policy and ensure there is a land supply for development, and support nature and cultural-based tourism by protecting our natural heritage features and also encouraging the conservation of cultural heritage uses. In the simplest sense, the Niagara Official Plan establishes policy to identify what we will protect, how and where we grow, and the policy systems or tools to help achieve these. This slide identifies resources that will be protected, which are found in different chapters of the official plan, as some are protected for ecological importance and others for cultural heritage or importance to the region's economy and general food supply, such as the agricultural system. Natural environment planning is important in supporting the identification of areas where growth should occur. It reflects the importance of the ecosystem role and the natural systems play in our daily lives and supports the link between the natural environment, public health, in relation to addressing climate change. At a special meeting of Regional Council on December 1st, 2021, the council directed staff to move forward with option 3C. The natural environment system is a region-wide system that includes the provincial natural heritage system, key natural heritage features, key hydrologic features, linkages, and buffers. This slide, which is a schedule in the official plan, illustrates the coverage of the components of the natural environment system in Niagara and outlines the individual features in the legend, which are included in the natural environment system. With respect to watershed planning, the region and local municipalities share responsibility for watershed planning. Regional level watershed planning was completed in conjunction with the official plan and informed the growth management exercise and identification of the water resource system. Sub-watershed studies are required when a secondary plan is being undertaken for designated growth areas and other large undeveloped areas. The agricultural system is important to the region's economy. Niagara region is home to an active and vibrant farming sector. In Niagara, farmland generates $1.4 billion in GDP and has a high employment impact for the region. In recognition of this and provincial policy, the policies of this plan protect the agricultural land base, minimize conflicts from non-farm uses, ensure long-term sustainability of the agricultural system, protect specialty crop and prime agricultural areas from fragmentation, facilitate a strong, diverse, and resilient agricultural economy, protect and recognize rural lands as part of the agricultural system, and recognize and control changes to existing uses to ensure a viable agricultural system. This slide is a schedule from the official plan, locating prime agricultural areas shown in brown, specialty crop shown in green, rural areas in white, and urban areas in gray. The Niagara Escarpment Plan area is a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. It traverses several municipalities in Niagara and is a key component to the microclimate for growing grapes and tender fruit. The policies of the Niagara Official Plan provide for the maintenance of the Niagara Escarpment as a continuous natural environment and ensure that all the development is compatible with the natural environment of the Niagara Escarpment. In general, the region will use the policies of the Niagara Escarpment Plan when commenting on Niagara Escarpment Commission development permit applications, unless the region has more restrictive policies. Niagara region is home to distinctive cultural heritage resources that contribute to a sense of identity and provide important social and economic benefits. Buildings, structures, spaces, views, archaeological sites, and natural elements of cultural heritage value are visible across the region. The Niagara Official Plan policies support the identification, conservation, wise use, and management of cultural heritage resources, promote the Welland Canal cultural heritage landscape as a multifaceted cultural heritage destination. Niagara is situated on treaty lands. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations. Both Indigenous and European terrestrial and marine archaeology contribute to Niagara's local identity. The Niagara Official Plan policies identify areas of archaeological potential, ensure archaeological resources are conserved. And these policies were developed in consultation with our Indigenous partners and First Nations as part of the development of an archaeological management plan. Mineral aggregate resources such as sand, gravel, stone, and shale are located throughout the Niagara region. These resources are finite and must be protected from incompatible uses that could limit the future extraction of mineral aggregate resources. Mineral aggregate resources are used in the construction of homes, highways, railways, bridges, and airports, and they are also used in the manufacturing of several products. The policies of this plan protect mineral aggregate resources and existing mineral aggregate operations, provide for efficient extraction, minimize negative impacts on mineral aggregate operations, require identification of haul routes, ensure compatible and sustainable rehabilitation, and conserve and recycle aggregates and manage excess soils. Turning over to how we grow. There is significant growth coming to Niagara over the next 30 years. We will grow by a little over 200,000 people and about 85,000 jobs compared to 2021. The Niagara Official Plan directs 60% of intensification to existing built-up areas, well above the minimum 50% provincial target, and proposed expansion areas represent 1% of the regional land base. From a regional scale, growth is being strategically directed to specific areas with over 30% of growth to be accommodated in strategic growth areas. The Urban Growth Center, which is downtown St. Catharines, and it's a provincial growth center. District plan areas shown in yellow, which currently are the Brock District Plan and Glendale District Plan. Major transit station areas in green, which are in Grimsby, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and a future one in Lincoln. And they reflect the GO station areas. And regional growth centers, which are downtown Welland and downtown Niagara Falls. Staff have worked with local municipalities in identifying employment areas, shown in blue, for protection and accommodating jobs as we grow to maintain our economic competitiveness. This slide illustrates the proposed settlement area expansions, urban and rural being hamlets, previously released for consultation. The expansions are necessary to address community or employment need in specific communities, despite the 60% intensification rate that we've identified. The locations were assessed based on criteria discussed in greater detail at the January 26 PIC on settlement area boundary expansions. But impact on the natural heritage and impact on agriculture were considered in the assessment along with other factors. As we grow, we need an adequate supply of housing for age-in-place scenarios and different income segments. In terms of assisting with addressing affordability, we need a greater supply of housing of all types, but particularly more medium and higher density housing. The policies of this plan support a diverse housing stock, identify minimum targets for affordable rental and ownership housing development, identify planning tools to support the development of affordable housing, encourage local municipalities to develop housing strategies, and promote transit and active transportation options. Planning tools to assist with affordable housing include flexibility and scale in terms of scale, form, and types of residential uses permitted as of right, streamlining planning approvals within provincial requirements, financial incentive programs have to be developed. As of right, permissions for up to 2 affordable dwelling units within new or existing residences. And opportunities for inclusionary zoning within protected major transit station areas. The employment policies of the plan aim to identify and protect employment areas, plan employment lands to enhance economic resilience through a diversified economy, protect airport and aerodrome lands, and enhance rural employment lands within rural settlement areas. Now I'm going to turn over to the tools and systems that will help with managing growth. There are several policies, systems, or tools to assist with accommodating growth and locating intensification in the best manner while developing complete communities and protecting natural heritage features. These include district and secondary plans, urban design, infrastructure, and transportation, which I'll talk about next. District plans are regional level plans that establish a vision and key policy direction for important growth areas. Examples are the Brock District Plan and Glendale District Plan. Secondary plans are amendments to local official plans that establish a blueprint for how a community neighborhood can grow into the future. These plans will implement policies and targets for our regional structure. They'll provide for proactive planning for complete communities, support a mix of housing types and diversity in built form, incorporate sustainability features, incorporate and protect natural heritage features, and consider impacts to the watershed via sub-watershed plans, and ensure urban design is a policy component in the development of the plan. Also plans for infrastructure investments in a fiscally responsible manner. Urban design is the practice of making places that are attractive, memorable, and functional. It involves the arrangement, appearance, and relationship between buildings, outdoor spaces, transportation systems, services, and amenities. The region has and will be updating urban design guidelines that local municipalities can use should they not have their own urban design guidelines. The policies in the plan support high-quality development, well-designed streetscapes, buildings, and public spaces, balanced street design to support active transportation, and sustainable design practices. Well-planned and managed infrastructure is fundamental to attaining the region's vision for thriving and resilient communities and key to achieving the growth forecasts of this plan. The Niagara official plan policies use growth forecasts to plan for water supply and sewage collection within urban areas, restrict municipal services outside of urban areas, ensure stormwater management is integrated in the planning process, provide waste management systems that are appropriate size type to accommodate future growth, ensure utilities are provided in an efficient and compatible manner, and support the development of green energy infrastructure. Plan and implement a sustainable transportation system. I'll be talking about that further. The region is responsible for planning and implementing a sustainable transportation system that accommodates forecasted population and employment growth. The Niagara official plan supports a complete streets approach, coordinates with urban design policies, prioritizes public transit, directs planned transit to strategic growth area or areas with higher residential or employment densities, supports active transportation, links major goods movement facilities and corridors with international gateway and employment areas. This schedule in the Niagara official plan depicts the transit system in Niagara as well as future corridors. As we plan to accommodate growth over the next 30 years, the policy direction in this plan aspires to provide for affordable housing opportunities, climate change adaptation and mitigation, efficient use of infrastructure, investment in public amenities, protection of natural areas and rural systems, and support for economic development. This slide depicts the timeline for the official plan. The consolidated draft of the official plan was provided at the end of December. We've been taking and receiving comments and on the official plan, and we'll be doing that to March 4th. We'll be considering all those comments and making revisions for a proposed consolidated draft official plan. We'll be making that available prior to the public meeting, conforming with provincial legislation. We're looking at a public meeting towards the end of April. And we're looking to get the plan adopted in and around June and sent to the province and meeting the provincial timeline of July 2022. There's some key takeaways moving forward. We will consider the consultation feedback and revise the plan as I mentioned. There will be no appeals to the minister's decision on the official plan. Area municipal official plans and zoning bylaws come into conformity. Once our official plan is approved by the ministry, local municipalities bring their official plans into conformity with ours and address their local planning issues and local planning opportunities. We will continue to create more streamlined and improved processes for development, and we'll continue to monitor the plan as we track growth and development. The plan is not a static document for 30 years. It can be revised as monitoring or policy application issues dictate updates. And that concludes the presentation, and we look forward to answering questions. Thank you.